The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Houston Oilers are now on the clock. The Toronto Mounties are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The London Black Knights are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The San Antonio Express are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock.
Let me feel myself a little bit. Little bit. You ain't talking big. Get out my way, little bit. West LA, that where you find me though. Cha-cha macho with it, rocking black clothes. Whipping around that Batmobile, ducking 5-0. If you step to me, then be prepared for smoke, little bro. Let me feel myself a little bit. Let me blow this down a little bit. Drip, little bit. Let me feel myself a little bit. Little bit. You ain't talking big. Get out my way, little bit.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
She-Bag got me.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock.
I can't go. No, I can't go. And whoa, sometimes I need a check.
The Giants are now on the clock.
You watch your step. You change name. How about your respect? Give them more than when I get expecting nothing back. In fact, you know, I sat down with my accountant. He said I got good news and I got bad news.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
He said the good news is you made a lot. I said what's
the Rams are now on the clock.
You spent more.
The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Houston Oilers are now on the clock. The Toronto Mounties are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The London Black Knights are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The San Antonio Express are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
Women gon' lie, you're looking for the truth and the numbers don't hide. Looking for the root of all evil, then you need to go open up the briefcase, see with your eyes. Everybody claim to be greatest of all times, but they never spend a day in the rain in the front line. No lie. Stop playing on my phone line. Pull up in the space coupe with the roof.
The Jets are now on the clock.
I've been groomed from the womb, came out of my mama with some running tennis shoes, faster than the speeding bullet. No. Don't play with it, baby. What you gonna do? Stop playing with it, baby. If you gonna do it, don't play with it, baby. Exactly.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Houston Oilers are now on the clock. The Toronto Mounties are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The London Black Knights are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
Game over, time's up. Play my cards, dealt my hand, ain't really no time for luck. Either you got it, you don't. Lie to yourself if you won't. I put my team on my back. Did what I could, what I had. Now I'll be all in my bag. Copy and paste with the swag. Bet you can't do it like me. All my winners on repeat. Take your L like a boss. Stand 10 toes on your feet. I can never take a loss. I ain't set up for defeat. 4 Giottos on the truck. I had a dream and it's stuck. Living my life cause we up. Looking back like where the love.
The San Antonio Express are now on the clock.
Loyalty runs deep. I keep my ear to the streets. Struggle turned me to a beast. I'm out the chain, I'm out the leash. But baby girl, I play for keeps. Told my brother lately, I've been scheming against all odds like Willie Beeman. I've been grinding lately.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
Yeah,
The Jets are now on the clock.
I've been hustling with no fun and forget all the fame, get the money. I'm out in LA where it's sunny. I've been eating since a youngin', since we ain't have food in our tummy. The life we was living ain't funny, but you cannot take nothing from me. Put that on my mama, my daughter, my cousin, my brother, I'll show you. Way better than I can tell you. The type of dreams that they sell you. That's why I learned from my failures. Don't do the handouts or the favors. Told my brother I'ma get this paper. Was left behind, I'll see it later. To keep it real, you don't need to wait up. Lay it out on the line, ain't no looking back.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Spotlight on you, behind you,
I remember sleeping with my ribs touched. I remember sleeping with my ribs touched. Now I get it go. Now I get it go. Now I get it go.
The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Houston Oilers are now on the clock. The Toronto Mounties are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock.
I get it go. Now I get it go.
Going up. A champ with the crown is here. I'ma win anywhere. Hey, so shake it like you don't care. I shake it up everywhere. And I can bake cakes by the pound. Blow the whistle cause I love that sound. And we can just keep going round.
The London Black Knights are now on the clock.
Go ahead, touch down like that. 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 Hey, hey, go ahead, touch down like that. Go ahead, touch down like that.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Go ahead, touch down like that, like work the middle, work the middle.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Work the middle, 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 work the.
Pan a camera to the middle of the dance floor. I think there's something going down. Shorty packing goods like a transport, and I ain't never seen something so round. How round? Round like a planet in orbit, round like a b-ball. 23 Jordan, dunking on default. Automatic forces attract me to females. I look this gorgeous. How did you even come in existence? Hey, or did you just appear out in an instance? You got me all driven, revving my pistons. I wonder if she like the stick shift. Ay, count a 4 and make a wish. I wish that shorty keep it lit. Cause if I shoot my shot, I won't miss. No backboard, gotta sound a light switch.
Go ahead, touch down like that. 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 Hey, hey, go ahead, touch down like that. 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 Like work the middle, work the middle, work the middle.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Work the middle, 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 work the.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Automatic is a habit, you should know it's automated. I've been getting to it, I ain't noticed y'all was hating. Brand new chick, she don't know that I can pace it. I just wanna know that I can hold a conversation.
The Jets are now on the clock.
I've been waiting for you, now I'm running out of patience. Running up a check, trying to run an operation. Went broke in the check and put 100 out of savings in. I can tell now that you ain't talking about nothing. I'ma need something I can calm down from. I'm gonna pull it with the bar down one. 6 months in, I ain't down once. Trying to tell me what you know about me. You don't know nothing, keep it real with me. She says she ain't trying to deal with me. Okay, cool, you can sell that seed. I'm just hoping she don't fail. Cause when she do, I don't know what I'ma do. All that I heard that y'all was talking, it was comical. Pull up in your city for the evening, what you trying to do? Cause I'm open to it. I know that you missing, but you gon' get